When the fleet of San Nikola reached Malta, they were met not by hostility, but by an unexpected ally. Ser Jean-Baptiste of the Hospitallers greeted Bianca upon arrival and offered his blade in the defense of the island. Though the knight spoke with conviction and reverence, his presence stirred unease within the Domina Maris. Still, necessity often demanded strange companions. Reluctantly, Bianca accepted his aid. Their arrival proved timely. The fortress monastery of Malta was already under siege. The Legions of Mammon had descended upon the island in force, their heretical banners rising against the stone walls of Christendom. Pilgrims of the fleet rushed to the ramparts alongside the Hospitallers, hastily establishing defensive positions in the outer trenches, while Ser Jean-Baptiste organized what resistance he could. Yet, from the beginning, the battle carried the scent of disaster. The pilgrims, outnumbered and fearful of the infernal weapons wielded by the heretic legion, most notably a Goetic Warlock and a monstrous werewolf, took shelter behind a bunker along the forward trench line. It would prove to be a fatal decision. The first act of the battle came not with gunfire, but with sabotage. A demonic sapper planted an explosive charge beneath the structure, and within moments the bunker erupted in a thunderous blast. Stone, timber, and flesh were thrown into the air. Ser Jean-Baptiste was removed from the fight instantly, and many of the defenders were left wounded or dying in the smoldering ruin. Fear crept into the hearts of the faithful. The followers of San Nikola withdrew deeper into the citadel, seeking to protect one of their sacred relics from falling into the hands of hell. From the battered walls, they attempted to regroup as the heretic legion pressed its advantage. The enemy's assault did not relent. An artillery witch emerged among the ranks, lobbing cursed shells that burst into clouds of choke and poison gas. One bombardment followed another, forcing the defenders to cling to their positions as reinforcements slowly filtered into the fortress. Amidst the chaos, one figure wandered the battlefield almost unnoticed. Pilgrim 37. Left to his own devices, he stumbled through the carnage, surviving encounter after encounter by what could only be described as divine misfortune. Bullets missed him, explosions failed to claim him, and collapsing defenses somehow spared him. Yet, because of his reputation, and perhaps because no one wished to acknowledge his continued existence, no one seemed to notice. On the far flank of the battlefield, one of the fleet's Anchorite Shrines advanced alone. For a moment, the great walking reliquary pushed the enemy back, its massive frame a beacon of stubborn faith. But isolation proved fatal. Cut off from support, the Anchorite Shrine eventually succumbed to the concentrated firepower of the heretic legion. One by one, the followers of San Nikola fell. In the end, only Bianca and Adriana remained to defend the shrine's sacred reliquary from the approaching Goetic Warlock. Though they fought with unwavering resolve, the sorcerer's infernal power proved too great. With a whisper of blasphemous incantation, he slipped past their defense and laid his corruption upon the shrine. The reliquary was lost. When the battle finally ended, the spirit of the procession lay in ruins. The fleet had suffered grievously, and the pilgrims withdrew into the deeper halls of the fortress. Exploration of the citadel ceased. Their focus shifted to survival, to recruitment, rebuilding, and the grim duty of entombing another fallen anchorite. In this, at least, Malta proved generous. The Hospitallers eventually pushed the heretic legion back from the island, though only after surrendering much of the surrounding ground. Ser Jean-Baptiste himself survived the battle. Though gravely wounded in the explosion, he recovered within the infirmaries of the knightly order. Bianca attempted to part ways with the knight once he regained his strength. Jean-Baptiste refused. He claimed knowledge of the relic of Saint Mark that Bianca sought, and he spoke openly of another desire as well, to humble the Prussian forces who had already crossed blades with the fleet. An uneasy accord was struck. Jean-Baptiste would fight beside the procession while they remained near Malta, but when the fleet departed the island, the knight would not sail with them. Later, within the command deck of the Redeemer, Bianca and Alonso reviewed the failures that had followed them from Alexandria to Malta. A pattern had become impossible to ignore. Their strategy was flawed. If the fleet continued upon its current course, battle after battle, defeat after defeat, the procession would be destroyed long before it ever dealt meaningful harm to the forces of hell. Something would have to change. A new way of war would have to be forged. But what that path would be, only God and San Nikola knew.